Well, I've started my list of activities for this fixing up part. I've thought about the harness and the situation with it, and I have an idea for a bracket that fits underneath the coupler and holds down two flat connectors inside a plastic harness-like thing with a screw in the middle that is a shoulder screw, so this thing can pivot as it takes the turns, and it holds all the four wires flat, but then they come together as they go through their piece, and I think that will keep it up off the track yet give it ability to maneuver. I think that's the end where, but I'm not starting that right now. What I actually have already completed was the opening up of the body, and I had found Leon in his creative genius had put some decorative elements on here, some pop-off valves and a whistle, but as he did so he used brass parts and they required a big stem to poke through, so he added a lot of material right in that area crossing across the center, and he had a big piece of this thing sticking out. So I had to get the grinder out and grind all that down as well as I could. But then when I came in here to do the test fit, I noticed if I line up the screw hole right there, that screw hole, I can see that that part was coming out just at the end of this step. The three pins down there were coming out right about here. And when I looked at that, and I realized that there's nothing there. When I hold my smoke up, there's nothing up there. The heatsink is on the bottom side, so there couldn't have been an interference based on that. So then I looked at this pin here, and I did see a few scratch marks on this relay, but they were over on this end, and they were not too bad. So I just look again, and then I know this glob of stuff was really a, my first attempt and all that stuff. But then I looked closer and realized that, oh my God, this wire had actually pulled off the PC board. It was soldered, but it didn't have a mechanical connection. It didn't fit into a hole and get soldered like it is a good mechanical fit. That did not happen. So I could have been going without puff and brake for some time and not realizing it. Oh gosh. The other thing I thought about, I'm not necessarily sure I want to go ahead and start re-engineering this thing, but I do need to make it different. I thought about putting holes in the sides so that you could pull the wires out one at a time, so you could actually get the cable harness out of this thing and do work with it. I'm going to have to anyway, so I may just cut a slot in there and slide the wires out, do the work, and then slide them back in and go ahead and reuse this thing. On this board, when I got it out and disassembled it, this black wire to the fan motor was disconnected. Now, the fan was running, so it couldn't have been during, so it must have been during disassembly I might have pulled it. But what that tells me is that wire is too thin and too brittle, so I'm going to have to replace it with something more supple that will withstand a little bit of movement, right? I also wanted to verify that I had both of the magnets, and I do, and that the switch is still fully functional, and it's rolling around very nicely. There's no restriction from this guy. He's on 2 ball bearings, mind you. So that should be a fairly smooth operation, and it seems to be so. So these are the blob pieces that I took off. The smoke assembly with the adapter, the smoke housing, and the smart smoke board, that all just came off with 1 screw. This guy all came off with 2 screws. And this guy came off with 2 screws. So 5 screws, and here we are, right? All the guts of the engine. All of the, 1, 2, 3 PC boards in the engine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 printed parts. Now, pardon me, the main reason I wanted it to get it down is I'm thinking about taking off these big boys. The Fat Man magnets give us a lot of power, but they also cause a lot of stiction to the armature for rotation. It requires more power to get it to rotate. You can't see it, but if I move this, you'll see it has like a, there, see that? Can you see that? It pulls itself back. You have to overcome that magnetism. So the bigger this magnet is, the more you have to overcome. And that, I think, takes away from the low RPM torque because you're working harder to move that. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I may try it and just see how it works. If I have better low speed, that would be an improvement, I think. But the motor's working well. It also has ball bearings inside the armature, so it spins real free. Oh, I took it all down because I have to fix the wheel, right? Put the other wheel on. So I'm thinking about changing these fields as well to a pair of the mediums. Oh, come on. These guys, they just love each other. These are the thin ones. You can see the difference, right? Okay. So they're both very strong. It's just that this one is a little less strong, but it still has good speed. So I may try that. Everything wants to be your friend. Look at that. Look at this. I just waved it around and it got caught on a connector. All right. Stop it. Get back in your cage. Okay, so what else was I going to do? Oh, re-engineer this. I may not. Redo this. I have to. And put on the white wheel. So I think the next thing I'm going to do, it's going to be lunch real soon. I may just get this disassembled and get ready to put the new wheels on. And then I'll do that after lunch. I know she's going to call me because we have a project. Oh, God. A cleaning project. I mean, she can't do everything herself anymore because of her foot, so I have to help. It's okay. I mean, she's done so much for me. We've only been married 23 years, for crying out loud. Okay. So those are the things. Clean up this design will probably be the last thing, and I may not even do it. I may do it later, okay? But I have to do these other things. I have 2 broken wires, which is a heads up. I have a big fat board I need to thin down. And I have, I want to fix that and change that and put it back together. There you go. So that's what I'll be doing today. And I thought it'd be fun for you guys to see when you take it apart. Well, it's got to be a mess. It's just terrible. Oh my God, all these parts. 5 screws, unplug. There you are. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. And if think about it, these could be the kits. These could be. I'm not that energetic, but if someone wanted to, I'll give you the parts, the bill of materials. You buy everything you need. You can print, you can assemble, you can wire it, and you can sell it. I'm not going to. I don't have time. I've got a Wi-Fi wireless controller I want to finish. And I got a Snowpiercer engine I want to finish. I have a lot more stuff to do. This is a step along the way, okay? All right. This guy's 2 printed parts. This is 1 printed part. Oh, this is 3 printed part with the gear. The STLs are done. Its design's done. You print my stuff. If your printer's working anything like mine, which mine is pretty good, but you have a good one, okay. You can print this, buy the board, stuff it, buy all the pieces, all the screws, assemble it the way I have it, make your wires the way I have it. It'll work. It'll work. It's amazing. I'm always surprised when I put something together and it still works. Why? I don't know why. Every time. I guess I just come from a long line of doubters. But we're doing fine. All right. I'm going to get ready to go. I'm sure she's going to call me, but I'm going to start this process by getting these wheels off. Okay, later, gang.